Hey, Michael, how's the shoulder?
Well, let me tell you, the fractured bone is a real thing. But I'm getting better.
That's good.
But you know what's even more important?
What's that?
We are still headed to Kentucky.
That is right. Ladies and gentlemen, September 26th to the 28th, we are going to Bourbon Country Burn, or what is bourbon-country-burn.com. You can still register. We have a campsite. We have official cycling men and women of leisure cornhole boards.
Oh, yes. We'll be using those. And we'll be hanging out by the fire. We'll be playing cornhole. We'll be drinking lots of bourbon. We'll be tasting a lot of bourbon. It's going to be a great weekend. So if you want to, come on out and join us. Oh, I think we're going to ride bikes sometime too, aren't we?
I hope so. I hope so. I have to tell my wife, when I pack the bike at least.
You got to make it look good.
That's right.
Well, it's time for Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure, the podcast for cyclists who understand that riding is not just about getting to the destination, but the experience along the way. Now, here are the original Cycling Men of Leisure, Adam and Michael.
Welcome to Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure, number 76. And once again, I'm lucky enough to be joined with my good friend, 12-hour drive away, Mr. Michael Sharp.
Hey, Adam, how we doing?
Good. How's the world in Kansas?
The world in Kansas is pretty good. It's hot though, but it's hot everywhere right now.
It is.
And then it's 90 degrees one day and the next day it torrential downpour. So
but the lawn still looks dead.
Well, no, actually the lawn is super nice and green, but so that's a plus because normally the last couple of years this time of year it's been like pretty much Droughtville, so it's kind of nice not to be there.
Well,
so, how are you?
Good. Life is good. My wife is back home.
Yay!
If you've been paying attention to the last few episodes, you'll know that my wife is probably going through HELL and moving her father into a memory care center and getting the house ready to sell and going through all the family heirlooms and downsizing, and she is back in the great state of Michigan. Forgive me for all of our Ohio listeners, and I know we have many. I always tease her when she comes back on US 23, just out of Ohio. There is a Welcome to Michigan station. I tell her that on the first shed as she gets off on the exit is a delousing station after living there for 6 months. So
let me just make it perfectly clear. The views reflected by my co-host Adam are not the views of this show entirely. I got no problems with Ohio.
Yeah, it's a 4-letter word.
Okay, come on. Let's not alienate any of our listeners any more than you already have. So
I'm only kidding, but football season is about to be upon us, and so I'm looking forward to that fact. The powers that be must know how to advertise well, because I received not one, not two, but 3. Mark them 3 pieces of advertisements of buying premium packages that include football, like NFL Ticket Plus and YouTube and all this stuff. And so the market bots are out there, buddy.
Well, they know who you are.
That's true. To all my Ohio friends and family that I know who listen, it is all in good fun. So, but that being said, go blue. No, actually, besides that, life has been pretty good. I'm gonna have dealer's choice. I've got a guest for listener spotlight. We've got some leisure community communications. We've got some people wanting to know how you're doing.
Let's start off and get listener spotlight out of the way.
Yes, sir.
Let's do that, and then we'll move forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for Listener Spotlight.
All right. The hints that I provided were as follows. The original town was platted in the 1830s. Two railroads intersect the town. It tried twice, not once, but twice, to rename itself. But the first two choices were already taken. It is named for a community in Georgia. It sits on a historic highway. And the best one, the town would make any lumberjack proud, or Oscar Mayer.
I won't sing, because in the last episode I gave you a little verse of Lumberjack and sang the Oscar Mayer song. I will spare you, or our favorite community of crashing into a wall with my singing. But that being said, our friend Matt, although you call him Mark sometimes, I call him Matt. Our friend Matt Rodeos, Matt Robinson, and he said, "Hello, boys. I'm going to go with Vienna, Illinois, and I intentionally pronounced the S silent." Now, I happen to know that Illinois is silent. He said I intentionally pronounced the silent S. I know that the S is silent, but I purposely said, because of the way he wrote us, Vienna, Illinois. It hits every clue, he says. 1830, check. Railroads, check. Centerville and Jackson were naming attempts, check, check. Named for Vienna, Georgia, check. Misspelled Vienna, Vianna, check. Lumber, it's near the Shawnee National Forest, plus the Vienna sausage play on words, check. I'm glad the collarbone is healing up. Missed you guys in Iowa. Minnesota, Matt, a.k.a. Mark. Tell us, Michael, how is our friend Matt, or as you call him, Mark?
Well, let's just put it this way.
Well, okay.
Sorry. I mean, a very, very good guess. But I tell you what, I'm going to give him partial credit.
Okay.
Partial credit. And the reason why I'm giving him partial credit is because the town for this week's Listener Spotlight, or this episode's Listener Spotlight, was Atlanta, Illinois. So he had the right state, just the wrong town.
Okay.
I'll go through this real quick. They tried to rename this town twice, which apparently a lot of towns have tried to rename themselves in Illinois. First, it was Xenia. Apparently, there was already a Xenia, and then they tried to do Hamilton, and that didn't work. And finally, they ended up with Atlanta. But either the person submitting the paperwork or the state spelled it Atalanta. Had one too many A's. Got that figured out. I don't know when or how, but they did get that figured out. This sits on a historical highway. It's on the old Route 66. And the one that I thought would give it all away, not really. The town would make any lumberjack proud, or Oscar Mayer. It's because Atlanta, Illinois is the home of Bunyan Giant. That is a 19-foot tall Paul Bunyan statue, and he's holding a big old hot dog. And I'm just assuming that this is a leftover from when Route 66 was going crazy. Because, they always used to do all those crazy things like the TP motels and the crazy neon signs all throughout the whole Route 66. So I'm assuming this Paul Bunyan statue thing was part of that lure people off the road of the old Route 66.
On behalf of Adam
and Michael,
we both want to say thank you
for your support.
Well, you actually educated me on some of the Route 66 stuff when we went to the Henry Ford Museum. We saw the old Holiday Inn with the shag carpet and the fancy ashtrays and all that good jazz. But you told me about some of the Route 66 stuff, so that was pretty cool. So I remember when I was in Washington on the 101 or 1 on the whatever, right on the border. Up there was like going through there was like a big Paul Bunyan with a big axe statue. So,
but it makes sense in Washington.
True.
I mean, lumber is a huge, product of the state and that kind of stuff, but you're not expecting it in Illinois. So
no.
I thought it was kind of interesting. So there we have it. Thank you, all of our listeners from Atlanta, spelled the correct way, Illinois.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, listeners from Atlanta, Illinois, but thank you, all listeners.
And thank you, Mark, partial credit.
It's Matt, but it's okay. Let's see here. Oh, I went to a conference a couple weeks ago, and I want to share something with you. Because I began to tell you in our personal life, and you said, stop, save it for the show. And I said, that sounds perfect.
Okay.
I went to, and not to diminish the participants, I was a judge. I went to a bus rodeo. And when I said rodeo bus, you said, stop. This sounds like something for the show. Write it down. We'll talk about it then. So
a bus rodeo.
Yes, sir.
You folks in Michigan, it's not even wintertime yet, and you're already bored to death. We're going to have ourselves a bus. Out here in the Midwest, in the West, we bring in cattle and horses and, ride bulls and things like that. We don't just sit in an air-conditioned bus and go, wee, yeehaw.
Now, are you familiar what a bus rodeo is?
I'm assuming there is no roping, no cowboy hats, no boots, no big buckles, and no chaps involved in any of this. Am I right?
You're pretty close. You're absolutely right.
You're pretty close.
Well, because
that right there worries me that I say all this and you go, you're pretty close. So I'm like, which one of those am I pretty close on?
Well, there's no roping. You do score points for assless chaps. Just kidding.
Whoa.
Just kidding. No, you're correct. There are no, it's not a rodeo. It's spelled ROADEO, like a rodeo, like a rodeo, like rodeo.
So that's your way of hiding the fact that whoever did it couldn't spell and they messed up. And so now you guys are, that's what
it's spelled that way on purpose because buses are supposed to be on the road, hopefully anyway. But so just to be, if anyone is not in the transportation industry, I will explain that there are a few different bus rodeo-ish events. You could have like a figure eight, and this is one of those things where you race the buses. Usually these are older buses about to be retired and taken out to the back 40 and shot over in the head, but it's like a crash up derby, and the excitement is oh my gosh, are the buses going to go in these figure eights and are they going to touch each other? You're
saying it's demolition derby.
We didn't have
that at the county fair comes the night before the rodeo.
I've been sidebar. I used to go when I lived in Anna, Illinois, what the S is silent. Anna's in the southern Illinois. Every year before school, we had the county fair.
Oh, yeah.
And I would go to the demolition derby. And I remember my parents had an old white Oldsmobile. And they had it for a while, and they sold it to my uncle, and he drove it for a while, who's from Ohio and listens to the show. So all my family knows I'm just teasing about the rivalry. But he sold the car to a guy, and he says, there's some issues with it. And he said, I'm not really worried about the issues. And he said, well, sometimes it doesn't like to start. And he said, that's okay. He said, I'm not really worried about that. He said, okay, whatever. He was just looking for the money. About 3 weeks later, I went to Crash Up Derby and Demolition Derby, and sure enough, I'm like, man, it was green interior and the white car, and they'd taken out all the windows and welded the doors, and the guy crawled into the window area. And I went home and I took back in the 110 film days, I took pictures, and I said, I'm telling you, Mom, that was our old car. And she's like, oh no, it wasn't. And sure enough, there was some scrapes in the back before the demolition and before it had been crashed a bunch of times that I had taken pictures. And after we developed, my mom said, "Oh my gosh, you're right." So yes, it was kind of fun watching our old car get demolished. But that is not bringing this back
to the bus rodeo.
That is not the kind of rodeo we went to.
Okay,
we went to a skills test rodeo. This is where you have to do
sounds more boring.
It's a skills test. I mean, the drivers, they compete. They have a written part of the test. They have
and this was on a Saturday?
Oh, the actual bus rodeo was on a Thursday. I hope
they got paid for this because this sounds like work now. There's a written exam.
Not only do they get paid, but they got to have nice dinners when it was in Frankenmuth. I'm not sure if you know about Frankenmuth, Michigan, but
it's like the Christmas.
Yes, and
the Christmas town of Michigan.
Lots and lots of chicken. They're known for their fried chicken.
Mm-hmm.
So the drivers got to have, nice meals and practice and
then you made them take a test.
Well, I didn't. Part of it is you can earn 1,000 points and I think 150 is written, and there's passenger assistance, like helping someone who resides in a wheelchair and making sure that you're doing your pre-trip of your bus correctly. And each thing is scored, and then there's cones that you can't hit. I was on what they call diminishing clearance, and I was like Officer Obi, and I had a speed gun, and I literally had they had to get up to 20 miles an hour from one section to the cones. They had to get 20 miles an hour, and so I got to, every time they would cross, I got to shoot them with the radar gun, legitimate radar gun. And they were supposed to get up to 20 miles an hour, and then the barrels would get smaller and smaller and smaller. So your opportunity of going through
your
without
clearance diminishes, much like right. when you get older.
Well, that's true. So, but luckily, only a few drivers hit the barrels, because I would watch, because I was thinking, man, if the bumper hits the barrel and they're gunning it, that barrel's going to throw me way down the road.
Now we've got a rodeo. People getting thrown and.
Well, I said that's why I said you're mostly right. Like, woohoo! No.
Here's what I want to know. This will answer the questions for everybody listening or watching. How many were the stands full? Was there a lot of spectators?
There were spectators. Yep.
Really?
They weren't full.
Were these spectators like participants who weren't doing it, or what?
Some were participants that weren't doing it. Some were family members because we went to.
What was your ticket proceeds? I guess is my question. How much you make off of tickets? Popcorn sales, hot dogs.
Zero.
Okay.
So Bavarian Inn in Frankenmuth, Michigan is a touristy area. I like to use the word tourist trap. But it's a touristy area with what they're advertising is Michigan's largest water park. And it's pretty big, but has a, lazy river and all this. So the family members were coming because it was also a conference, which I'm going to get into because you're going to love this next part. But when you asked if it was on a Saturday, because I told you I was not coming home until Sunday, I went to the conference, which was on Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
And the rodeo was on Thursday because they found that if they did the rodeo on Saturday, the participation was 0.0.
Yeah, you're making them take a test. No one wants to take a test on a Saturday.
So
diminishing clearance. Whoa.
So it was at the resort where they have arcade and games and ropes courses and all this stuff, and so that's why the spectators were family members of people attending the conference, and then I flew the drone. My new fancy drone will hover like 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I had that hovering and took some pictures so I can show you, and I can maybe take a screenshot and put it on their YouTube somewhere. So or maybe on the socials, but it's a huge parking lot. They take over a whole parking lot so the buses can do like right-hand backing, and it's like they cover the rear view mirror camera, because most buses nowadays have backup cameras, and so they cover those up so the driver actually has to have a skill of backing up, right hand backing, left hand backing. And so part of it was not hitting any cones. Well, not embarrassing any of my drivers if they listen to it, but one of my drivers basically took themselves out in the first 4 minutes because it was 5 points a cone. And this poor driver didn't see the cone and just took out the whole line. And that was it. I mean, at that point, they just rested. It was just fun. So of 43 drivers, one of my drivers placed in 10th place, which is really impressive because last year they were 33rd and they really studied and they really practiced. And so they jumped up 23 spots. And then one of mine was 13th place. And then one of the drivers was 36th place, but 43 participants. So 36 wasn't last, and they celebrated today because we found out the scores and they weren't last. So I said, well, that's good. I mean, you're taking it positive. So very interesting. But yes, I was Officer Obi with my radar gun, and luckily there was trees. The parking lot has I don't know, center spots or whatever, and their trees would be in the parking lot. And so luckily we would dive under a tree and stay out of the sun. And then, as you mentioned, it's been pretty warm. And then as soon as I saw it was our turn, then we would come out. It's funny. I was watching it later on the drone video, and here I tuck out of the shade and then I shoot the gun and then I go right back in the shade. So,
well, if you'd just wore your debrim, you wouldn't have had to do that.
Well, that's true. But I was around a bunch of transit folks and they don't even cycle. So then I really would have been out of my element.
So? What? Are you saying you to look goofy?
Well, maybe. But speaking of goofy.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I have never denied.
It's okay for you to look like that around cyclists, but around other transit people or
if anyone knows me,
transportation. Sorry.
Goofy. So, but there were multiple courses, multiple offerings of trainings for the weekend, and it was for all levels of transit. There were for drivers, for trainers, for IT, for decision makers, for directors, for whatever. I was there because it was recommended by a peer at another transit agency that they were offering by CTAA, which is a reputable organization representing transit, offering a 2-day supervisor class. So I was taking the all-day Friday and Saturday, which, let me tell you, being in a conference on a Saturday, I love conferences and I love flying to conferences, but I'm usually in my own humble abode on Saturday. So being out of my element, I had a 2-day supervisor class, but I'm happy to tell you, I did take the test. And I passed. I am now a transit supervisor.
No, wait a minute. Hey, just don't laugh. You don't even know you do know what I'm going to say.
Oh, I can hear it.
I have known you for years. In fact, we're getting really close to knowing each other for like 10 years.
I know. We should celebrate with a bourbon.
What? I've got one right here, but we'll wait to celebrate the 10 years later. Ever since you've always introduced yourself as a transportation supervisor. So you're just telling me you were lying to me. And I told all my friends, hey, I know the transportation supervisor up there. Yeah. So now you've made me out a liar because you have not really been a transportation supervisor.
I guess not legally, no.
You did not have the suitable for framing certificate that said you were, in fact, transportation supervisor.
Technically I didn't have to take the class, but I'm glad I did. But now by certificate, I am labeled in the eyes of CTAA. I am a transportation supervisor. Now, the funny thing is the certificate, which after you take the test, you get an instant email with a certificate, and it says that it expires on, August 2nd of 2028. And I asked my boss, what am I going to do on August 3rd? Do I just have to quit? Do I have to?
No longer a supervisor.
That's right. So,
well, let me just say, congratulations on finally making it to a supervisor. I guess it's true, fake it till you make it. Go around and say, you know what, I'm a supervisor, and sooner or later it'll just happen. So congratulations, my friend.
Thanks, buddy. I play the part. Now I can actually live the part. So
you've got the certificate. Get that frame put on your wall.
Yeah, with all the others. So actually, I want to give this guy credit. His name is Dan, who taught the class, and he was really thought-provoking. He did a great job, very inspirational, I'd say leader, inspirational teacher and instructor. To give you an example, and then we'll move on. But he came out of the, everyone's chit-chatting, and they first sit down, you sign in, and you get all your materials, course materials, and we're all like, oh, where are you from? And I'm, blah, blah, Mars, and I'm from Jupiter. And then all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to back up my microphone for a second, but he starts he starts the class like this. I was at the Walmart. Like he really just, and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh my gosh, like you stop and you like look at him, and this is the kind of stuff that he would talk about. He would
attention. Say, see, that's drawing him in. You got a hook. You got to get the attention right
away. I mean, it was just like, whoa,
Now you're like, what were you doing at Walmart?
Exactly.
Tell us more.
He goes, I'm in the oil change section, and I couldn't help myself, but the mechanic came in and the supervisor, he's got the white shirt on and he looks like a manager, and the mechanic says, everybody else was afraid to come tell you, but we broke the wrench again, and I was wondering if it'd be okay if I went and got one from aisle 13. And manager said, yeah, no problem. Things happen. Go ahead and go to aisle 13 and get one. And then the instructor stopped and said, who can tell me what's wrong with that picture? And I actually did not understand.
There's no aisle 13 in the store.
Well, first of all, there's no aisle 13 because it's like a cruise ship. There's no 13, no floor. I'm just kidding. Right. I didn't. I actually at the time I didn't think about it, but what it turned out to be was why did the conversation start with everybody else is afraid to come talk to you? Like, why would an employee be afraid to? It was things like that you were supposed to think about. So it was really good class. And then, although I won't lie, on Saturday I was like, whew, and then I got home Sunday, and then on Monday I was right back in my office. I'm like, man, there was no weekend there. No, that's what I was doing, and you said to wait for the show, so I wanted to honor that. So,
and now we all know about more than we ever wanted to know about a bus rodeo.
So, before we move on, I have to tell you something funny. I was in the judges class or whatever, learning what I was going to learning what I was going to do for volunteering, because the supervisors and directors, those who are higher up, were it was implied that you would volunteer, because to run a bus rodeo takes 60, 70 volunteers, so you can mark and everything. And so I'm double working, I'm double tasking, and I'm firing off emails at work, and a guy I know is sitting next to me, and I think he was being dead serious, and he said, man, I almost really screwed up. And I was like, oh yeah, how's that? And I got the phone in my hand, click, 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 click. He's like, I almost misdressed for this thing. And I was like, oh yeah? And he's like, I almost wore like boots and chaps and a cowboy. And all of a sudden I stopped what I was doing and looked at him, because I wanted to look and see if he was serious. And either he was a really good actor or he was being serious. He said, but at the last minute, he said, I realized that it was probably not that kind of a rodeo. So
it's probably from the Midwest.
All right.
And, by the way, I did like your reference to Officer Opie.
Officer Opie.
I did catch that.
Officer Opie.
Little Alice's Restaurant.
That's right. By the way, I recommend, if you got 28 minutes of your life, to download and listen to
a quality 28 minutes, because you know what? You can get in anything you like.
Officer Opie, I cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope at the bottom of that garbage. Let's see here. Leisure community. I have an update. A few episodes ago, I said about road sodies, and if Michael was wrong, it went on deaf ears
And that was fine because Michael wasn't wrong for once.
According to Rob Menser, hashtag.
Did you just
Michael's
make this
wrong.
up?
No.
Okay.
You can go to our socials and you'll find it out there. But it took 3 episodes. But thank you, Rob. I agree. Michael's wrong. So, right. Moving on.
Wow.
Oh, David Stroud. I got to cheat and look at my phone. But David Stroud wrote us, and I think he was talking about you. So I want to make sure I get this in. He says, Adam, congrats to you and Michael on 75 episodes. Can't wait for the next 75. Hear, hear, buddy. Hopefully you guys can get down to Mississippi sometime and I can get a few rides in with you. Best to Michael. It's a great day for a bike ride. So,
awesome.
Perfect for that.
Thank you, sir.
There are a few people who want to know about your health, but before we do that, our friend and teammate Gary Vaughn has sent us an email. He was at a cycle event, and he was representing by wearing the black and white Cycling Men of Leisure t-shirt.
Classic. All right. That's awesome. Good job.
It was a motorcycle event in Sturgis, but it was nevertheless a cycle event.
Still, that's cool. But we got represented in Sturgis.
That's
at
correct.
The motorcycle rally.
That's correct.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Many times we mention our friend Ed. We've even made a mention he should go to the bank and get a new bank account under 1.6 Ed.
Mm-hmm. Because he's new and improved.
He's improved. He is now 1.8 Ed.
Now this is starting for me to ask questions. Is the podcast so bad that he just wants to get through it, but he still wants to be able to say, I listened to the guys, but I did it really fast? Well, it's like when you jump into, you do the polar bear plunge.
Yes.
You jump in really fast and get out really fast.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you something. He wrote us, and you made some funny comments.
I said that focus groups. I said something along the lines that focus groups have determined that I actually sound better at 1.8.
And he replied and said, "Nice show today, guys. Glad to have been there from almost the beginning." And I couldn't help myself. And I replied, I read that at 1.8 speed.
I love it. Now he's the new improved Ed. Thank you, Ed.
Now, I don't want to steal your thunder, but we heard from, Connie, it is now time for our cult classic, Armando section. We heard from Armando. Do you want to take this?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
We need a cool little introduction, by the way, for this segment. But Armando sent us a excerpt from a Wyoming paper. And Wyoming has a ride across Wyoming. I think it's Tour de Wyoming. And there was a big picture of these cyclists. And the main focus of the picture was 2 cyclists on a tandem bike. And they had dobrims on. And at the bottom, whoever wrote the article doesn't spend a lot of time around cyclists because it talked about, the tour or whatever. And it said, and yeah, these cyclists even have cycling cowboy hats. So you're just a cowboy. Giddy up. Yeehaw. And you're going to bus rodeos. So that kind of works.
I'm a cowboy.
They looked at, and I bet those people are thinking, man, they probably just had those hats specially made for Wyoming because it's cowboy country. And so who knew? It was very funny.
Well, our year of brag when they had the ding 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 ding, my hat was perfect. I cannot lie. I searched and I searched and I searched for a dobrim that looked more like a cowboy hat. And I did find one. It was for equestrian. Mm-hmm. And I was going to order it. And when I looked at the price, I was like, well, close.
Oh, so close.
Just a bit outside. I was not spending $250 on a joke. So I think this thing I saw was pretty serious. It had like a cowboy hat that was a helmet at the same time, and it was definitely for horse riding and probably for horse jumping. Maybe I don't want to be honest, but I mean it was very expensive. So, but yes, well, thank you, Armando and Connie. That once again has been sponsored by. No, just kidding. But you're right. We need to come up with like a
little
Armando voice. Something. We'll come.
We need to get some cool music or something. A little,
I'm gonna go next. There have been some inquiries about your health.
Yes. Well, I still have a fractured clavicle. It is getting better. I have more range of motion. I don't have full range of motion. And I do get I am getting a lot of, I wouldn't say pain because it's not like the pain I had when I began, but I'm getting a lot of, I don't know, a lot of soreness, a lot of aching, I guess would be a good term for it. So I'm starting to think that I probably have some soft tissue damage also. But in 3 weeks, I'm supposed to go back and get an MRI, and then we'll be able to see. But I can at least, raise my hand a little bit. I can't, raise it completely, but I'm on the mend. I'm still going to go to Bourbon Country Burn.
Gotcha.
Because I can lift a glass with my left hand.
Well, that's good because if you can't ride your bike, we can still drive to distilleries.
That's right. We can dress up, go in front of the sign, take our picture. It'll be fine.
Well, I was thinking that. I mean, the archway is right there. I mean, we don't even really.
We ride over to the archway, take our picture, and then boom, right back.
Lauren, I do want you to know that I am taking the bicycle, but there might be distilleries that are gone to.
There might be.
There's going to be.
Lauren, I hate to tell you, but there will be distilleries.
Well,
sorry.
Fine.
So yeah, I'm on the mend. Hopefully, we'll get back to full usage here in a few weeks. So we can only hope.
Well, all right. Let's see here. I'm happy to hear that. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that the soft tissue damage is, maybe physical therapy that can fix it, or whatever. But
let us hope.
Tell us your update about your favorite daughter.
Well, it's been a busy week. School started. And she is going to be a freshman this year. And actually today was her very first day. It was just a freshman day, here's how everything operates and here's your classes and getting around the school and stuff. But yeah. And then yesterday, the day before school, she got her driver's permit. So yeah.
Oh boy.
There goes the insurance. But no.
USAA.
That's right. So, it's been one of those things where, you get here and it's like, oh my God, it went so fast. And then you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be over so soon. But, she's excited and kind of nervous about it. She had a big sleepover with like 5 of her friends on Saturday night and, they had a really good time and that type of thing. So that was a good way to kind of end off their summer. And it's just weird because, all the girls over here, I think 3 of them I have coached on softball when they were like, 5 and 6 and 7. And the other ones I've known since they were like in preschool. And just to see them now and, they're talking about boys and all the other stuff. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's just insane. But
man. I once said something about your daughter having a boyfriend and you bleeped me. You censored me.
Well, yeah, I don't even know why you need to talk about that.
Okay, moving on. I hate to tell you, buddy, but it's probably inevitable.
Hey.
Yes?
Can we stay focused?
Yes.
Focused.
Ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm just kidding. I think we should move on to
Please.
our our big event coming up in September.
You mean the Bourbon Country Burn?
The Bourbon Country Burn, which, by the way, I'm looking forward to for sure.
It's going to be good, and they have announced who their speakers are for Friday and Saturday. Their special, I forget what they call them.
VIP tastings.
VIP tastings. Very exciting. They got some good ones. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I definitely want to get in on one or two of those.
Yeah, for sure. They go on sale in a couple of days.
Friday.
The show will come out on Sunday, but hopefully you and I, either team effort or whatever, successfully are able to get some of those tickets. So operators are going to be standing by.
Well, I hope so, because you know what? We were able to get tickets 3 years ago out in the middle of Iowa with no cell service. So I hope, you being at your home, me being at my home, we can certainly get those tickets without as much trouble.
I seriously want to thank that fire department in the middle of Iowa in Ragbri, who couldn't remember the guest Wi-Fi, but could remember his Wi-Fi and gave it to us. And there we were, and we were able to jump on and order. And then everyone else like, how'd you get Wi-Fi? And I looked at that gentleman, and I'm like, I don't know. It was working just for a second. It's not working now.
Something Rock, Iowa. I forget what it was.
I forget. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, super nice guy. We were able to get on there. So it's going to be fun. And if there's anybody out there who would like to join us, please do. We're going to be doing a little riding. We're going to be doing a little hanging out by the fire. We're going to be doing a lot of tastings. We're going to, have our own beverages at our campsite that we'll be partaking in. We'll be bringing the cornhole boards. It's going to be a good time.
It'll be a good time. So if you've never been to Bourbon Country Burn, because we've been getting some reports of some new listeners, if this is something that you've never heard of or know how it works, you basically camp or hotel or whatever, the same place every night. Mm-hmm. And all the rides start and stop from the same location. And then in the evening, the location on a couple nights has dinner, a couple nights has bands, some fire pits. And one of the big things is you get tickets. And then there are bourbon vendors from local distilleries who bring their bourbon. And in the evening, it becomes a really cool, social gathering where your people are tasting. They're smaller, but trust me, there's people like, you want my tickets? You want my tickets? I mean, the first year I would thought, oh man, I'm gonna, this is gonna be nothing. I ended up with a handful of tickets. So I'm like, well, and let
me say the tasting event, because the tastings are different than the VIP. Every night they have 10 different distilleries come in and line up on both sides of the band house or the pavilion. And they're not local distillers that you don't know their names. I mean, we're talking Makers and Jefferson and, Lime Branch and Wild Turkey. And I mean, big names like that. So it's not you get a bunch of people you've never heard of.
No, for sure. For sure. And then they got photo booth, photo session places and, good, guys telling stories, and everyone's it's just awesome. It's just a great time. And then in the evenings, after everything kind of shuts down, the crowds kind of shuffles over into the camping area because it's directly connected to the Kentucky Horse Park campground in Lexington. And there's a lot of fire pits and a lot of great times. So,
so when it dies down, you'll want to follow the big flag that'll be flying in our campsite that says Cycling Men of Leisure, and come on over.
Hey, you know what we could do? We could fly the big flag.
Oh, yeah.
We could put the small flag on the way. Just follow the flags.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea. I love it.
And then that way you can go this way.
I need to find one of those solar spotlights, and then we could shine it on the flag.
That's right.
I'll work on that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love the evenings better. I mean, really more than anything else, just because it's just, people are just out and there's music and fire and just a lot of fun. So
you're normally the trivia guy. You're normally the guy who throws things together. But since we're going to Lexington, Kentucky,
I don't throw them together. It takes a little more.
Well, you take pride in time. I cheat, but that's okay. I'm willing to admit it. I have some quick and quirky facts about Lexington, Kentucky that might give you a little bit of a chuckle.
Yeah, get us fired up.
All right. It's the horse capital of the world.
Lexington, Kentucky.
Yes, sir. And they take that very serious. You can find over 450 horse farms in the area, but don't expect the horses to pay rent. They live better than most people and sometimes have a nicer barn than the nearby houses.
Oh, yeah, we've seen that. Definitely.
Traffic jams aren't always caused by cars. In Lexington, a traffic jam can mean a slow-moving tractor, a herd of horses crossing the road, or even a bourbon barrel delivery truck taking its sweet time.
Ah, yes.
The bourbon and ice cream combo is a real thing. Local ice cream shops actually serve bourbon-flavored ice cream. It's Kentucky's version of a milkshake that might make you slightly more talkative. You can get lost in the country 5 minutes from downtown. Lexington is one of the few cities where you can be in the middle of the skyscrapers, make 2 turns, and suddenly be surrounded by horses, fences, and smell of hay.
Nice.
And the city is obsessed with fences, white fences, black fences, stone fences. Some of them are so well maintained, you wonder if the horses have an HOA. They have a castle. Yes, a literal castle, the Kentucky Castle. And no, it's not from medieval times, but it does make Lexington feel like a Disney movie set in bourbon country.
I've been by there many times, yes.
Basketball is basically a religion. The University of Kentucky Wildcats are such a big deal that during March Madness, businesses have been known to mysteriously close a little early, and productivity is just not doesn't stand a chance. It goes down. Horse manure equals good luck. In Lexington, if you step in horse poop, it's considered good luck. And that's what locals tell themselves anyway.
Exactly.
But yes, I thought these were kind of interesting little facts. So I figured I would share with you. So,
one thing you did miss on that.
Yes.
I believe it's Lexington, and you can fact check me on this if you need to. Has the University of Transylvania is in Lexington. I kid you not. It's a real thing.
Let's take a look.
University of Transylvania.
I played that video game. It has a guy with threw boomerangs and all that. It's real. Place in Lexington, Kentucky, and it's not a vampire joke. Well, mostly, it says. Here's the backstory. It's one of the oldest universities in the U.S., founded in 1780, decades before Kentucky even became a state.
Oh, yeah.
Locals just call it Trancy to avoid the inevitable Dracula joke. But let's be honest, the jokes still happen. Every Halloween, they fully lean into the name. Students sometimes dress in vampire capes, and themed events are common. Their mascot? Dracula, of course. No, I'm just kidding. The Pioneers, which is probably the least vampire-like mascot imaginable. And if you attend, you can say you studied abroad in Transylvania without even leaving Lexington. So,
how cool is that? But I was really disappointed in their mascot because we were actually, when I was in Lexington last time, we were actually like right there in front of the university. And I was like, I'd seen signs and I was like, is this thing real? And it was real, obviously. And it's like, they need a better mascot. They need to be like the Bats or something, or at least University of Transylvania Wolves or something.
The Bats, the Cats, the Rats, something.
The Spectres or something.
Nope. We'd be the Pioneers with bus rodeos.
So there you go. I'll add my little 2 cents to your Kentucky facts.
Okay. Let's see here. I believe I'm going to take the opportunity to thank Joe Grammer, Dennis Keeler, Scott Garwick, and Alex Bell. These are our monthly sponsors and supporters. And thank you very much. If you want to be like Dennis Keeler, Joe Grammer, Scott Garwick, or Alex Bell, there's many ways you can do that. So thank you.
Yes, definitely thank you. Now I've got something fun if you'd like to hear it. It's bourbon inspired.
I love it.
I did some research. I used some AI, and I was like, AI that knows us, knows the show. And I was interested in what kind of bourbon would we be according to AI.
Oh, boy. Premium.
And I've got some interesting results if you'd like to hear it.
I would, but I'm going to guess premium.
Bottom shelf plastic bottle.
White label that says bourbon.
Bourbon. Bourbon with a question mark. We may have hit all the requirements, and maybe we didn't.
Okay.
I'll leave it up to you. But here we go. I put in your information, and this is what I got. Given Adam's role as the co-host of Cycling Men of Leisure, the banter partner, the storyteller, the guy who can keep the mood light but still bring insight, I'm pegging him as something in the high quality, versatile, and slightly adventurous category. Adam, you would be a Four Roses small batch select.
Okay.
And here's what it would say. Here's what it says about you. Approachable, yet layered. People instantly enjoy his company, but there's always more to discover.
Oh, yes, there is. I mean, oops. Yes.
A balanced blend. He brings humor, camaraderie, and cycling wisdom in just the right proportions. Gets a little long-winded on Bus Rodeo, though. Hint of spice. Keeps things lively and unpredictable during rides and podcast episodes. And a long finish. His stories stick with you even after the bottle or ride is done. And if we were going to put something on a bottle that would explain, that would tell your story, Adam, this is what it would be. Cycling Men of Leisure Small Batch Select, crafted for friendship, laughter, and the open road.
There we go, buddy. I love
That's
it.
You like that?
I do.
And then I thought I would have a little bit of fun. Thought I'd bring in Armando again.
We don't have the
So I threw him in there to see what they would say about him. Armando would be a high-end bourbon finished in rum casks, specifically Jefferson Reserve Old Rum Cask Finish. Warm and inviting, the rub finish nods to Cuban roots and Caribbean flavor. Well-traveled character, Jefferson Reserve already has a worldly reputation, much like Armando's European adventures. Smooth elegance, perfect for a man who's retired but still rolls through life and bike rides with style. Subtle spice, a reminder of both the open road and Cuban flair. His bottle label would read Cycling Men of Leisure, Caribbean finish, aged in Kentucky, refined with Cuban warmth, perfected on the open road.
I think that just means he needs to come to Kentucky and get that bottle. So
absolutely does. And then here, I'll let you in on what mine said. Michael, given what I know about him, Cycling Men of Leisure co-host, lover of long rides and good company, a man who pairs adventure with ritual and storytelling, you're just not a whiskey. Well, of course not. You're something like a single barrel, well-aged bourbon with a hint of mischief. Think Woodford Reserve double oaked, meets Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Rich character from miles of experience on the road, complex layers, camaraderie, tradition, and a dash of irrelevant humor. Well, I don't like that. But anyway. Smooth but bold.
Michael's wrong.
Smooth but bold, approachable for anyone, but unforgettable for those who stick around. And a warm finish leaves people smiling and a little inspired. My bottle would read, best enjoyed slowly, in good company, preferably mid-ride or fireside. So there we go. If we, according to AI, were bourbons, that's what we would be. I thought it was quite funny.
I am looking behind me, and I think I have some Four Roses single barrel right back there somewhere. So
you should move it to the front.
I know. I should have.
I'm just glad I didn't come up with, Michael, from what I know about you, you'd be McCormick's. Bottom shelf, cheap.
Yes, that would be good.
Affordable but undrinkable. Uh-oh. He's digging. Oh, right there it is. That is you. We need to have my daughter build you a little Debrim, and you could put on the top of that, and that would represent you.
Yes, I once you were saying that, I knew I had it, so I had to.
So I thought that would be fun to see what we were, or what AI would think that we were as bourbons. Very
cool. Very cool. Well, I think we've had a great show. Checking over my notes. Check. The only thing would be a listener spotlight, which I'm sure you have. I just want to give you and make sure that you didn't have anything else for our community.
No, but I am ready for listener spotlight if you want to give me my intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, a man from Lewisburg, Kansas, will now give us a listener spotlight.
That's right. This episode's hints are as follows. The first white settlers moved into the area in the mid-1700s. The town was founded in the mid-1800s as a railroad station. It was a big railroad hub as 3 lines crossed into the downtown area. The town's name was changed. No surprise. I think every town's name was changed from what we've learned on this show. It was changed during the Civil War to honor a Confederate senator. But then after the war, they changed it back. The history of this town includes organized crime, bootlegging, old-time music, and a soft drink. And finally, a trucker headed west was on his way to this town.
A trucker heading west? Like just a random trucker?
That's for you to determine.
Wait. I'm thinking of the Convoy song.
Hey, I did pull that song out when we did Pagosa Springs, remember?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Eastbound and down. Okay.
That's not the Convoy song, but that's a good one.
Yeah, that's another one, yeah. BJ
Reed.
the Bear.
BJ and the Bear, yeah.
Yeah. Boy, that's when television, I had to do my chores to watch television.
Back in the late 70s when all those trucker shows were on, Oh, yeah. Trucker movies were big.
Before
CD
you
radios.
Had streaming everything.
Yeah.
I think about that sometimes. Like when I was a young boy, we had a remote control with a cord and it had an antenna on the top where you turned a dial and the antenna would slowly turn.
Oh, well, see, you folks were rich folk because we didn't have a turning antenna. They had somebody go up there and manual it.
A little to the left, a little to the right. Got the aluminum foil and the rabbit ear.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Well, that's great. I think.
Got any guesses?
No.
Eastbound and down.
No, I'm thinking about heading west in a semi. Big old semi. Yeah, semi. No, I think we've got a great show. This one, I really enjoyed this one. Looking forward to it. By the way, I think it's time to mention an official announcement.
Oh, boy.
No.
I don't like when you off-script it. Hey, I've got an announcement.
I am proud of my friend. Sir, I have noticed on the Strava and on my watch, you, sir, have been getting in at least, I do mean at least 5 miles of exercise daily. And I want to let you know that I've noticed, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sir. I've actually been motivated by you.
Okay.
You've been doing it for, the fitness thing for over a year now. And after my injury, I was like, I really need to start getting into better shape. And I think today is day 24.
Nice.
I've walked at least 5 miles and, did my other exercise rings and things like that. So, just trying to get a little healthier.
Today, new source came out. I know news sources come out all the time. Eat eggs, don't eat eggs. Eat chicken, don't eat chicken. I know that all the stories. But today, fast walking is great for longevity health. And so I thought that's, I don't think they'll take that away. I don't think it would be like, okay, don't fast walk anymore.
No more fast walking.
No more fast walking.
Slow it down.
It's not good. So, but I wanted you to know I've noticed, and I'm proud of you, buddy. So
I certainly appreciate that, sir.
So normally we end every show with "It's a great day for a bike ride," but somewhere in Lewisburg, Kansas, it was a great day for a 5-mile walk, sir.
Yeah, and a bike ride if you could ride a bike. But yes, it was.
And if you wouldn't have had that hose in your way, it would have been a great day for a bike ride.
It would have indeed. Yes, sir.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you for coming along with Adam and Michael on Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure. If you have enjoyed this, please subscribe to the show on the podcast app of your choice.
Hey, we just wanted to remind you that we've got some really cool products at our jersey and our swag store.
That's right. You can visit cyclingmenofleisure.com. At the top of the page, you'll find our stores page. Click there. There's 2 QR codes. The one on the left has a J on it. That's the store for the jerseys. The one on the right is just a swag store. Has all kinds of different items. Kind of customizable. You can kind of make the swag the way you want it. If the QR codes are giving you an issue, don't worry. Underneath, there's 2 buttons that you can click on. Thank you, and have a great day.